Hi, this is Coco. I'm going to be talking today about the Messiah Harris case. Got a new interview that we're going to react to, and it's on from Ratchet TV. And let's just go ahead and get started because I know everybody's going to be ready for Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and get started.
And so, when I got the phone call that we were tapping in a negative light, we went.
So, like I said, this is Aunt Jernell and cousin Kewana that are having an interview with Ratchet TV.
To just give you an understanding of what really went down, as we understand that, a lot of people are passionate about what happened in the situation. A lot of people don't understand what role we played in the situation, but we're completely separate from everyone else.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it right there. So I don't clout chase, and I don't clickbait. So with that being said, those are the same. Well, that's one of the same voices you heard on the news the other night. You can go run it back. I don't gotta lie. Go ask Jernell and Kewana, did they speak to me today? They're gonna tell you yes, Ratchet TV, and we gave him permission at the end. Throughout this, before I got to this conversation, this was an off the record conversation. So the whole entire conversation for about an hour, they were under the impression that we were never gonna air this out. Throughout the conversation, I kept kind of pushing it. I ain't gonna lie, I was being real pushy with this. Like, look, I want to run this. You know what I'm saying? But I need your permission. I'm not a hoe ass dude, bro. Like, I'm not gonna just put your shit out there and you telling me no. So if they never would have told me yes, and they told me to skim past it. If anything's sensitive in it, just don't air it out. When really, I don't think anything that we said can mess up the integrity of the case, because it was all our opinions. And I kept telling her, like, this is just our opinion. So I got a whole other show lined up, but I don't know how much of the show we gonna be able to do with the guy, because this conversation was an hour and 18 minutes. Do y'all want the whole conversation, or the most of it, or do y'all?
So during this video, he goes back and he's like asking them over and over, hey, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do this? And they were like, well, they kind of went back and forth, and you'll see how it goes and plays out in the video.
That with a little.
So I'll get the rest of this video back up. So let's get that.
Shannon is the one who called me. Me and Shannon were close. She called me and told me that one of the children at the party, I don't know this little girl, said that Jarvis had touched her in the program. And at that point, I'm like, what are you calling me for? Did you call the police? Is he dead? Like, what's going on? What you calling me for? Like,
now, this party took place well before, and this happened when she was in Shannon's care. They all had a party, and during this party in the basement, something happened.
What can I do about it? Did you call the proper authorities? And she told me, no, I'm going to take the little girl home. And then my mom wants me to bring the children home tomorrow morning so she can talk to them. I'm like, y'all don't need to talk to them. Y'all need to let the police talk to them.
And this is 2022.
Yes. Okay. And that's when the next day I talked to Shannon, like, did y'all call the police? What's going on? What's happening? Did you have to talk to the little girl's mother again and all this different stuff? And they basically told me that they were handling it, that they were going to call the police, And then like maybe a week or so later, she said the CPS was involved and that the children were getting counseling. So fast forward, this was February of 2022. So I'm thinking police are involved and call the police, all this stuff.
So if you hear what she's saying, at the time of the party, when Naziah and another one of her cousins were touched, the other cousin ran upstairs, horrified, just hysterical, goes to Shannon. Shannon calls her mother. Well, first she calls Jernell, then she calls her mother. And it kind of goes from there.
Fast forward to April, another incident happened. And I'm like, so she's still in counseling?
What incident?
It was another incident with one of the children being over-sexualized. And that's when I was like, you know what? You obviously lied to me. Those children are not in counseling. Something is definitely going on, and I am calling the police. And I'm going to call CPS on you and your mom. So I immediately hung up, contacted the Clinton Township Police, and they told me I didn't have enough information and that I need to contact CPS. And the lady took 2 reports from me. So one against Shannon in Clinton Township and one against Annette in Detroit, because I told them that the children were alternating between those 2 households, and he had access to both households. Right. And I did the same when I found out. In 22, I also called the police. And again, we've always been directed to call CPS. The police will tell you personally, they only come out if the crime is happening at that time. If there's a crime happening, if whatever we're stating is happening in that moment. Other than that, you go to CPS. And then CPS will issue a warrant to the police to investigate if they feel like it's warranted for investigation.
Okay, and they not lying, because y'all heard me call the police on live DPD, and they was like, "Look, that shit passed. We not fucking with that basically." And I was like, "Hold on." So basically, I can go down there and commit a crime, and as long as I don't get caught in the moment, it's okay. Like I didn't. So I said, you know what? Let me call internal affairs. Then they arrested me as soon as I said, "Let me call internal affairs." So I know I've been telling y'all I'm gonna make phone calls, but I needed to.
Just in case you guys don't know, this case has its own Jaguar, right? And it's called. Her name is Mimi. Mimi was breaking into every place but the actual auto shop. She broke into the car wash that was next to it. She's broken in houses. She's finally been arrested. Talk about she was looking for her. And if you see any videos of Mimi, you understand why I'm saying it like that, because she's a little crazy. Like she's more than a little crazy. Bitch is off her rocker.
Talk to these family members before I even pursued anything else. So with that being said, there's more phone calls that not only I'm going to make, but I'm going to make sure that we all make these phone calls. Okay, guys, I'm going to let this keep playing, but I have to give my comments on this because I'm going to let it play. I'm not going to be talking too much through this. I want to play it, but every time something happens, I want to put it on y'all mind. Like, look, we got to make phone calls. I believe Naziah Harris will help change laws in Detroit. Whatever happened to her, God rest her soul if she's not here anymore, and if she is, just be with her. But I do believe Naziah is going to help us change laws in Detroit. So let me let this finish. But just know we're going to make phone calls, and we're going to call internal affairs on DPD, and we're going to go over CPS's head. We're going to do all this shit. So let's continue.
So again, even at other times, and then after a while, I think we got to the point where we were calling CPS so much that they didn't believe us because we just kept calling. Then the next thing we know, didn't move. We did not know where they lived at.
Cheers, gang.
And it's kind of hard to call them at the police report. You don't have an address or anything, which granted, if somebody is really doing their job, all you need to do is give them a name, some brief information, and they should be able to look them up, especially a person who's a foster parent. But I just feel like people dropped the ball. It wasn't enough investigation gone. I don't think, in some cases, I don't think that they believed us. And then what's going on now with Naziah, what's happened to Naziah, this is not anywhere by means what I thought that was going on. I knew that something was going on and it wasn't right and it was bad, but this is beyond.
So, like she said, she had filed reports after reports after reports, both on Jernell and Kewana. Problem is those reports didn't go very far. Basically, they made it like the house was clean, so the kids are okay, right? No, not exactly. I mean, think about it. How many rich people you know that don't live in dirty houses and doing the same thing? So hopefully this will help to reform CPS also, not just the laws.
Did y'all ever talk to Naziah or anything?
They kept us. The last time I seen Naziah was June of 2022. June 18th. The last day I seen Naziah was the day that I went to drop clothing off, and because I popped in and popped out a lot to clothing, snacks, whatever, mingle with the children. And so last I seen her, once me and Shannon had the back and forth, we were cut off. And let me say this: the children had to basically sneak call. We weren't usually seeing no children. It was sneak phone calls like, "Hey, Zaya, big love you, baby. Y'all okay? No, we need to cash up this, that, and the other. Hey, Vern, you sent us sports day in school, such and such and so and so. We working on this. Whatever." They had access to them. We didn't have access at all. It was they cut us off. Yeah, on June 18th, when I last saw Naziah, I was picking up my other nephew because my son and him are the same age. They were born 2 weeks apart. And we were going on a trip. I got all the children and took them and did stuff with them. I took Shannon's kids to Disney World. But I got my other nephew and took him with us to Ohio. Naziah came into the car. She gave me a hug and everything. "Hey, Auntie." And then she said, "I want to go next time." I said, "I'm going to take Zay this weekend, but the next weekend, I'm going to come and get you." So when I got back, I had told them, "Okay, next weekend, I'm going to call you. I'm going to get Naziah." When you try, even before we found out about this stuff, it was very limited access to the children. Oh, they got to do chores. They can't do this. They can't do that. No, they can't come. She got to do her schoolwork. It was always an excuse why the children couldn't go with us. So when I called that weekend and tried to get her, just was going to take her to lunch, get her nails done, maybe buy her outfit or something, let her come over here and chill to get away from being the primary babysitter in the house. They told me, "Oh, she can't go. She has chores." I'm like, okay.
So as you see, Naziah was the primary babysitter.
So far, they cut them off because they were calling the cops and CPS so much. That is the only reason why they, weren't able to see her, because they cut them off. They were like, "Yeah, you're too much in our business. You're drawing attention to us. And you keep screaming about the stuff we're trying to hide. So you got to go." So that's how that whole split with them came about. And so now she's just, she'll explain how, Naziah and the other kids would basically reach out to her via like cell phone or whatever, but they had to sneak and do it. They couldn't do it in front of the family.
saying. She's saying Nazaya was a babysitter for these girls. They would leave Nazaya home alone with these kids. They would be going out and S-ing and effing all of Detroit, hopping on D to D. They was in the D hopping on D, having threesomes. You know, who would tag team, who would take those buffaloes down? That's like taking down wild buffaloes. There's some cold brothers out there. Y'all some sick, cold brothers for taking them wild buffaloes down. But I'm going to let them continue. But they're saying Nazaya was a primary babysitter. And Nazaya could never leave with these aunts. They were trying to relationship with Nazaya and the rest of those kids, but they would never let them. Oh, they got to do chores, do this, they got to do that. Throw the buffaloes up in the chat. I'm just disgusted with these people. So they use Nazaya as a babysitter.
And that's the other thing. Just after, her mother, gave her over to her grandmother, Annette. Annette, kept her around, and she's got foster kids. Shannon's got 5 kids, and, Marquita got her. They dump them off on Nazaya and have her watch the kids. So basically, she was free childcare. No, anything as far as opportunities for her to go out and like do things that normal kids would do at that age, she didn't have that. They didn't let her go anywhere.
Let's continue.
I said, well, maybe next weekend. So the next weekend I call. I'm like, well, can she come this weekend? No, she been acting up at school. Okay, I understand that, but I promised her that I'm here. So can I just pick her up in the morning, maybe take her to lunch, get her nails done or something, spend a little time with her and bring her back later on in the evening? No. Well, the Nazaya's bored in the house, so the boys get to go play football and stuff. Y'all make sure that they do that. Why Nazaya don't do dance or cheer or something? If the problem is money, I'll pay for it. They refuse that. Anytime you would try to reach out to be closer.
Who in the world, if somebody else is going to pay for your kid to go do an activity and you don't have to pay for it, why would you not accept that? All of it's just, the behavior is of, she was there as probably like the little human slave, walking around cleaning the house, watching the kids, doing all this stuff, adult stuff, and not being a kid.
Children or help them or do anything for them, they would shun you away and make up an excuse why the kids couldn't come. Sometimes they would even lie and say, oh, she ain't here this weekend, she with her mother, or she gone with somebody from. Then you would think about it like, you don't even know them people, and you let her go with them, but you won't let her go with me. So I wanna go back to from the moment when I found out as far as what was going on in the house. I was disconnected then. They had already.
Now, this is Kewana, the cousin of Nazaya, that's speaking.
There was no come over or any of that, because I was cut off, right? Because me and Shannon had a back and forth about what she was telling me. And so after that, I had a conversation with Jernell to confirm what Shannon had told me and to find out her take on it, because I was being told she called protective services and her reason of being why she called protective services. Shannon was telling me, yeah, and it was all a lie. It was a lie. And I'm saying, no, kids don't lie about no shit like that, Shannon. You're not going to tell me Jernell just called protective services on you and it was all a lie. We're not doing that.
So the kids did say something. At a certain point, the kids were speaking out. And you'll hear throughout this conversation later on in the conversation. We still got an hour and 2 minutes left in this conversation. I'm going to keep letting it play, but I just got to give y'all the breakdown of this. The kids had spoke out. And the kids were telling what was going on in the house. And then they basically said that's why they wouldn't let them go anywhere with anybody. That's why they would just kind of keep them kids around. They were basically coaching the kids. They were coaching them to, not, what I'm saying, whatever. And they did not let the kids speak out, and they were saying the kids were lying. So I'm gonna let this continue, but double tap that screen if y'all enjoying the content. How we not we just hit 1,000 likes, but we should be at 2,000 likes. We got almost 3,000 people in here. Let's go.
That was me and her disconnected, right? Now I'm going to my car pissed off, and yes, I did question the kids in that moment. I'm like, oftentimes when I would pull up, they would go get in my car, sit in my car, play the music. That was my moment when as we leaving out, going to my car. A few of the children were in my car. I'm not going to say no names, but I did question them at that time, and I was told no. It was the body language that told me different. I said, you know what? Let me hurry home, talk to Jernell, because I had already made up my mind. I was going to call. I just wanted to speak to Jernell. And once I got clarity from her, I said, okay, no problem. And I called protective services. I called the police. We didn't stop at police and protective services. We had attorneys. I was trying to get custody. The problem was for them, let them tell it, okay? Because I don't think that should have been a problem, because just saying that there was a pedophile and mentioning Jarvis at all, I had no clue he had a record of being a pedophile until this particular day when Shannon told me, oh, Jernell called CPS, and I went back and talked to Jernell. That's when she said, oh, he a pedophile. I'm like, he a pedophile? Hold on. And that's when I started getting information. Oh, okay, I see what we dealing with. Let me get on the phone. Let's go ahead and do it like this. So, I just want to be clear, because a lot of people are like, well, why didn't they just call CPS? I would have took the children. Hold on, wait a minute. There was police threatening. They had police threatening us. Okay, for harboring minors and whatever. We're parents too here. Okay, so you got to think about, if we go and do what everybody claiming they'll do, which there's still children in the house. Okay, so everybody got open opportunity to do everything that they said that we should go and do by taking kids and kidnap and so on. Okay, what good are we going to do anybody's children, let alone our own, in jail? Yep. You just got to make it make sense. When her brother ran away. Okay, so you want to see how weird this is. When her brother ran away, the first people the police contacted was us. Yep. Because they said that we were harboring a minor. He wasn't with me. I didn't even know he was missing.
Y'all, they almost got in trouble for harboring a minor because Bari ran away. So they suspected the first people to go look at is Jernell and Kewana, because they wanted him back. They wanted their money. That's their, that's money out the door. These folks are something else. I don't get it.
Kewana had informed me that he had ran away first. And then the next thing I know, the police were questioning her, calling me. And I'm like, well, why is y'all calling us? Like, this is why they think. And let me break that down. Because of the allegations of the allegations. And let me break that down. When he ran away, because it was more than once he ran away, but that particular time, I did go and pick him up, okay? And I did say, listen, this is what we're already doing, as this is what's going on. I and Jernell would like to get y'all out the house. This is what we need to do. This is what they need to hear, okay? And so they're already threatening. They're surrounding. They're doing circles around my place. They're calling. They're threatening my son. They're threatening me. If we see him in your house, if we see him around, everybody going to jail. You do know that, right? I mean, I'm getting threats from the twins. I still have messages of them calling, threatening me. And I'm telling them, well, meet me outside. I'm waiting. Meet me outside, okay? Well, you need to send him home if he comes to you. Hold on. Send him home, why? Oh, let's talk about the allegations. Let's talk about the abuse. Let's talk about what I'm being told. Let's talk about that. What do you mean just send him home? So here's the thing. And like I told him, and I want to be clear, yes, I love her brother. Yes, we've been around these children all their lives. yes, we acknowledge that there is a problem, and that problem is fear. Okay, it's like everybody's scared to just say what needed to be said or do what needed to be done. You know, and I take the understanding of knowing that, you know, he was a minor. You know, and not only that, but these kids and children and everybody has been conditioned mentally to be afraid. Okay, and I'm not trying to make that an excuse. I'm just trying to take my emotions out of the equation and what I would say and what I would do, and say, you know what, you know, because it's for years, you know, we still scratching our head like, why won't such and such just say they know? Why won't so and so? We've had family turn against us. I've had family turn against me. We have been in this ride by.
And she's not lying, because right now that family is a hot mess, like divided. You got which is crazy. You would think they would come together on this because both have the same goal, you would think, but it's not, because you got Team Roxy and then you got Jernell and Kewana by themselves over here. So my thing is this, you know, being that you are family, you both want to have the same goal, which is find Kewana. But it seems like, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, all of this is allegedly. And I would like to say that I feel like Roxy plus Mark D, those two got together. Mark D was on this from the beginning. I'll give him that. He was on this from the beginning. Roxy was living in another state. She wasn't even there. But yet she wants to kick around Kewana and Jernell, because my theory is main character syndrome. I think she had it, Mark D had it, and together, you know, two people with main character syndrome, only one of y'all are going to survive before one of you try to take the other out. So they split. Keep that in mind.
Ourselves.
Okay, so what are you guys thinking? Or do you feel like they're telling the truth? If you feel like these ladies that...
I will say, you know, he did not believe that they were he didn't believe them at first. But I had listened to, after I watched the preliminary hearings, I had watched a video of Jernell and Kewana before I even looked at a video from Roxy. So I watched the video on Kewana and Aunt Jernell, and I was like, I believe them. I totally believe them. And they have things to back up what they're saying. Okay. Roxy can only talk about when she got there, well after the fact. These ladies were there in the beginning. There was so many cases, and you'll hear that soon, so many cases that just the two of them filed with CPS, because like they said, police don't want to hear about it unless it's happening in real time. So those two had been report after report after report, which hence caused the family to split. They were like, no more access for you, because you telling our business, and we got to collect this check. We got to get this bag, okay? So that's where we are at this point.
Called me today.
Be afraid. Okay, and I'm not trying to make that an excuse. I'm just trying to take my emotions out of the equation and what I would say and what I would do, and say, you know what, you know, because it's for years, you know, we still scratching our head like, why won't such and such just say they know? Why won't so and so? We've had family turn against us. I've had family turn against me. We have been in this ride by ourselves.
Okay, so what are you guys thinking? Or do you feel like they're telling the truth? If you feel like these ladies that...
felt like we have walked alone. You know, by ourselves.
We're walking it because we don't feel like we still walking it. Like we've been quiet, you know, we be quiet. People don't really know us because, but we be doing stuff. I don't have to be the one. I've never been the type of person that I gotta be crazy, but I have been writing letters. I have been calling. I've been filing complaints. I've been doing all this stuff, and it's just like they not doing anything. And I'm learning that the system is just really fucked up. Like
Sure, y'all.
the justice system is fucked up. CPS is fucked up. All this stuff is just fucked up, and they want to blame it on being overwhelmed. But being overwhelmed,
that's where.
Call, right?
Yeah, but there's also some things that we can do. Now, I know y'all want this off the record, and if you want it to remain off the record, it'll remain off the record. But if your voices are heard and people actually were to I can get this story out to the mass public. And I know who to call to get the people who we've been calling in trouble for not doing anything. If those kids are still in that home after all of this, I know how to get them out of that house. Trust me, I know who to call to get them out of there.
Let me say this. It's not our goal to just get them out the house right here. Our goal is to get them out the house and actually get the children. Actually, you get what I'm saying? They don't even want us around the children at all. Like we've tried to check from mouth to mouth, you know, from other sources, say, hey, are the children in custody? Because we want to get the children. However, we got to break up. We can't even get that far. Well, they would rather the children be in custody than be with the two people that's been fighting from the beginning, whether they like it or not. They know we love the kids because we've been fighting for them.
So basically,
Salute Easy E for the 10-piece. Thank you.
Was told that if I guess CPS did do something or whatever, and what I've been told is, you know, they give the parent the opportunity to say who can take their children. And instead of saying who could take their children, they made it very clear who could not take the children.
Could not take the children. And guess who the knots are?
Did you hear that? So they specifically made sure these two, if the kids go someplace, they better not go with them. They don't want them to have them. These two actually loved and cared for these kids. And they don't want them to have somebody that's loving and caring. They'd rather them go to a foster home with people that don't even know them.
So right there, I have to tell y'all what just happened here. I know y'all probably heard it, but to make it clearer, they were trying to get the kids removed from the home. One of these ladies has a 6-bedroom house. The other one has a nice home. And they were trying to split the kids up into 2 different homes and take all of those kids into their homes. The twins and the grandmother went off to say to CPS. The CPS was contacting. The CPS was like, okay, so we're going to investigate this. And if something does happen, who do you want the kids to go to? They were like, let me tell you who they're not going to. And they said they're not going to Jernell and they're not going to Kewana. So Kewana and Jernell were notified that, look, they said they don't want these kids near y'all. They want to keep the kids away from y'all. They would rather the kids go in the system and anything happen to them versus you guys get them. And that's kind of weird. Who would just say, you know what, I'd rather my kids go in the system than to be with some people who love and care about them. But that's crazy, right? Let's continue.
I'm
pretty sure it's y'all, but that why would they even
get it very clear who could not take the children?
Could not take the children. And guess who the knots are?
I'm pretty sure it's y'all, but why would they even get a say so in anything when they're hurting their kids? But like I said,
this is great. That's the part of the system. That's what they do. They give the parent the opportunity to say, okay, we're going to move the children, or, you know, if we have to remove the children, who would you like to take care of take your children while you go through the motions of, they give you an opportunity to go to programs or do whatever it is, you know, depending on what extent they want to say the abuse is or the charges are. And then you go through a program, you can eventually get your children back.
Have you heard about Ryoko Pro? This is the cutting-edge portable Wi-Fi hotspot that people wish they found out about sooner. With this pocket Wi-Fi.
So, yeah, this whole thing is just crazy that you would want some strangers to take care of your kids other than family, somebody that actually loves them and cares for them.
trying to get the kids removed from the home. One of these ladies has a 6-bedroom house, the other one has a nice home, and they were trying to split the kids up into 2 different homes and take all of those kids into their homes. The twins and the grandmother went off to say to CPS. The CPS was contacting. The CPS was like, okay, so we're going to investigate this, and if something does happen, who do you want the kids to go to? They were like, let me tell you who they're not going to. And they said they're not going to Jernell, and they're not going to Kewana. So Kewana and Jernell were notified that, look, they said they don't want these kids near y'all. They want to keep the kids away from y'all. They would rather the kids go in the system and anything happen to them versus you guys get them. And that's kind of weird. Who would just say, you know what, I'd rather my kids go in the system than to be with some people who love and care about them. But that's crazy, right? Let's continue.
I'm
pretty sure it's y'all, but why would they even
Get very clear who could not take the children.
Who did not take the children? And guess who the knots are? Guess who the knots
I'm
are?
pretty sure it's y'all, but why would they even get a say so in anything when they're hurting their kids? But like I said,
It's just right. That's the part of the system. That's what they do. They give the parent an opportunity to say, okay, we're going to move the children, or, if we have to remove the children, who would you like to take care of take your children while you go through the motions of, they give you an opportunity to go to programs or do whatever it is, depending on what extent they want to say the abuse is or the charges are. And then you go through a program, you can eventually get your children back.
okay, so what was let me ask you this. What was the situation when Neziah first went missing? Like, what were y'all under the assumption of?
Well, we didn't find out until that Thursday after she went missing on the face. Somebody called me and told me, your niece is missing. And I'm like, who? And she sent me the screenshot, and it was Neziah. I'm not going to even lie to you. My first assumption was like, damn, this girl done ran away. But knowing Neziah...
And the reason why she said, oh, this girl has ran away wasn't because it was a history of running away. She's never had a history of running away. The problem is everybody else in that family, from Annette's kids on down, they were running away the whole entire time. That should be a CPS red flag there. Why are all the kids running away from home?
Knowing Neziah, she ain't got... That was a Thursday night. Friday morning at 8 a.m., I called the detective who was over the case and let her know what I knew and what was going on, and et cetera. And I kept in touch. I think I called her like that Monday to see if, because I figured, okay, she gonna go back home. She got to go back, But I was letting them know, like, look, this is what has been said going on in the house. This is what I was trying to do. No one will listen to me. Kewana also called that statement as well.
Sure did. And then
when I talked to her on Monday, she said they had not heard anything from Neziah. Has she reached out to me? I said, no, she has not reached out to me. I haven't talked to Neziah. It's been over a year since Neziah last messaged me on any type of social media. And when she would message me, it wouldn't be a conversation. It would be like, hey, Auntie, I love you. And then you won't hear from her no more. Or either you would message her back and then that page is deactivated or something like that. It was like weird stuff. So then I told the lady, okay, so then by that Friday, the next Friday, I said, something ain't right. I said, that baby is not about to be off away from social media. And if she's out here, she would have got in touch with one of us near Kewana, or we have other cousins who have sent their cash apps and stuff here and there. She would have reached out. Like, where's a 13-year-old getting money and safety and shelter in the middle of January? It was like zero below that week.
Absolutely.
So he was like, okay, something is not right. I'm like, so you have not heard from her at all? No social media, no this, no that. She said no. I was like, well, I only have Facebook, and the page that I have is no longer work. Like, I tried to send a message, it's not going through or something. So I said, what is her Instagram? I will open the Instagram account. I will shoot her a message. So she gave me the Instagram account. I shot her a message. No response. I waited the next day. Shot her another message. No response. I called that lady back. I said, something wrong. I said, this is nothing like Naziah. Naziah has never ran away from what I know of. And she know who love her. Yeah. She know who love her. And she know.
Just point out a little something. If you remember from the preliminary hearings, it was said that she didn't own a cell phone. However, her mother said she gave her a cell phone. So she had a cell phone. Where's that cell phone? That's what I want to know.
She old enough to know, like, they don't. I know they just talked about us in the household. She knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. So the lady told me when we were looking for her, we're passing out flyers. So I said, well, I want some flyers. She said, you can come and get some flyers. So I went and got some flyers from her. I went and passed out in areas like where over in near that area, and I, gave them to friends, and I'm calling people and telling people. So the next time I called the lady, I said, have y'all looked in the house?
Have y'all looked in that house? Because I think we all know something possibly happened in that house. Dorothy Minor, thank you for the 10-piece. Thank you so much. Salute, salute, salute. $350, y'all. We 50 away from 4 honey buns. Come on, I know we can get 4 honey buns tonight, especially with content like this. And that's right.
We were like, oh no, I said something like her telephone numbers that I received phone calls from all the children because they were calling, whether it was talking to me, whether it was talking to my children, but they had to sneak and do it. They could, the visual, us seeing them visually, that had been gone, and so I said, no, lady, she had this number, that number, these are the numbers that I was receiving phone calls from. She had multiple tablets. Tablets were getting taken from her. Phones were getting taken from her because she was being held accountable for what a fucking male adults were doing. Okay? Inappropriately. Why is she getting the ass beaten for something that... They put the blame on her. Yeah, she took the blame. You being promiscuous, you doing it. She was being punished instead of the person who was coaching her to do different things or enticing her or teaching her to do things. She would get punished. She's getting punished. Mind you, I'm getting fed this information by phone. So can you imagine? I'm pissed off. A part of me like, and then once they moved and we didn't know where they was at, it was even worse because you couldn't just... We couldn't have contact. We didn't have no information. And make no mistake, we were purposely not giving addresses. We were purposely not, this was an on-purpose thing. It was, everybody knew, the children knew, do not, because I tried to get it out of one of the children that called me, where you guys at now? I need the address. We can't give her address out. Oh, Nana said we can't get an address, She don't want nobody to know where we live at, because I guess that was her way of keeping us from filing any further reports and stuff like that. I don't know, but...
So where will Rocky come to play in all this?
Yeah. Right. The question was asked, and I would like to answer the question. I'm gonna answer the question, as best as I can without, Roxy was a family member that lived out of town that was in and out of the city. Okay. Roxy and Shannon had a good relationship. Okay. They had a really good relationship, and yeah.
Y'all see how uncomfortable they got when I asked that question? It was the room kind of shifted when I asked about Roxy. I was like, so my question was, where does Roxy come to play in all this? Then they was, no, he asked the question. I want to answer it to the best of, and then it kind of, Roxy, it's like Roxy is the key ingredient to all of this. And I'm going to let this finish, and we still got 45 minutes. I'm telling you, we cooking tonight. Can't nobody give you this content. We cooking. So get these likes up, double tap that screen. Where does Roxy come to play in all this? Let's go.
Yeah. So that's when Roxy came in.
I'm gonna rewind it.
Roxy and Shannon had a good relationship. Okay, they had a really good relationship, and yeah. So that's when Roxy came in. A lot of things was just a mess. And I'm gonna say that. And we were clueless as to what's really going on, because my thing is this, and this has always been my thing. If we're family and we all got the same fight and the same thought process, and that's what it's supposed to be. It shouldn't feel like we're under attack. You know what I mean? It shouldn't feel like we're being thrown under the bus, or you're trying to demise our character. You're trying to be malicious. I'll say that. So we went our own separate way because we didn't want no parts of none of it. Okay, we are totally separate from any of that. And I just want to be clear. It's myself and Jernell doing what we need to do, and whatever they're doing it over there.
Yeah, because we didn't align with what the path that she decided to take.
Thank you, Erica, for the cash app. So do y'all?
And she got upset with us for that.
Do y'all feel like she's involved in any kind of way?
I wouldn't say that, but I hope not. But I wouldn't say that. That's just that I don't. We didn't agree with my thing was Jernell. If she, she out here doing her thing, I was doing what I was doing. Kewana was doing what she was doing. But when
something is just this, okay. So I got to keep it all the way a buck. I always got to keep it a buck. This is the one part that kind of threw me off when we got to Roxy. Once we got to Roxy, it was like you kind of were very forthcoming with a lot of shit up until we mentioned I mentioned Roxy. Up until Roxy got mentioned, it was a lot of information coming out about Annette, about Shannon, about Marquita, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, about the plays, Jarvis, all this. But when I got to Roxy, let's take a shot to this. We're going to finish this. When I got to Roxy, the room shifted. Why? Why do y'all think the room shifted when I got to Roxy? Let's read a few comments real quick. We got all night. I ain't in no rush. I hope y'all not in no rush. Cheers.
mostly linked to the Harris family.
And we weren't.
The
allegations. We were cut off.
Despite the allegations, which, that's fine with me, but I wasn't about to be associated with them. Not knowing what I knew. And the only thing I wanted was the safety of the children. And there's still 7 children over there.
Yeah, that's been our
7
concern.
children in that house.
Everybody can feel some type of way about
There's a total of 10 children. It would have been 11 with Nazaya, but there's a total of 10 children that are being closely connected with the family.
Mm-hmm. 10 children, y'all. There's still 10 children closely connected with this family, and from what they told me, those kids are still in that house. And for the people who said, I thought you said the kids were removed. I never said the kids were removed. It was reported to me that they were. And even after it was reported to me, I still called CPS to follow.
What he's saying is true, because I have seen it myself, where over and over it's been reported that the other children living in the house were removed. I've been hearing that for weeks. They're still there, last I heard. Still there. As far as Shannon goes, Shannon, as you may have seen on other videos, is bouncing back between Annette's house and Marquita's boyfriend's house, trying to run from CPS.
One day, I didn't know. I've never confirmed that these kids were removed. I've never been the one that said these kids was removed. People was reporting that the kids was removed. I am the one who called CPS after it was reported that they were removed, just in case they weren't, because I kept saying, I can't confirm that, y'all. People are telling me, but I don't know. But there's still 10 children that we need to save. There's still 10 kids, y'all, that we need to save. 10 children that can be saved from these monsters. Let's go.
And our goal is not just to get them taken, but to make sure they're in safe households, because, there's a lot of horror stories happening within CPS. We don't want them to go from one mess to another mess. And which is why we were trying to be involved in that way and saying, well, listen, I got a 6-bedroom house. He's got a nice home. If we need to break it down, at least we'll still have them in a family, and we know that they are with family. Baby, they made sure that we couldn't even do that thus far.
Why are women everywhere choosing Abby X?
I got an attorney, and the attorney talked to me, and I explained to one of the children the situation. And because of, fear, they are coached what to say, what to do, what not to say, what's happening in this house, stay in the house, we sweep up under the rug. We handle stuff in-house.
Absolutely.
And the lawyer told me, well, they don't have to tell me anything specific about what happened. I just need them to say, I don't feel safe. If they say they don't feel safe, I will file the emergency guardianship paperwork, and he said, the day I file it, I'll probably have a court date the next day, and he said, you can actually go ahead and take the child from the house, but the child will not say that. So
that was what kept us from being able to get the children out the home, is a child needed to say exactly what she just expressed to you. And guess what? The children were being questioned around them. So,
yeah, right.
That's the biggest mistake. I can't even believe I've never heard of CPS questioning the kids with a parent that they know that there's some kind of suspicious, that they're connected to whatever's going on with that kid. I've never seen that. So to question them in front of Annette and Shannon, of course they're not going to speak. Of course they're not going to tell what's really going on. But that's how they did in Detroit.
Yeah, I question CPS about that. Why, are you guys taking the children out the home? Are they being taken out the home to be questioned? Because, of course, if they're being questioned in-house, they're not going to be honest. Like, create a safe space.
They're saying that these kids was questioned around them, so they've already been coached and coerced into, hey, say this, you say this. And then once they got around them, they were in front of them. So, of course, they're kind of scared. It's kind of like fear mongering. And you're basically instilling fear in the kids. Like, you question them around me, and they're not going to say nothing around me. But they were saying, why don't y'all get those kids by themselves? If you can get them by themselves, they'll tell y'all the truth. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? I think that they should have, taken the kids and questioned them by themselves, and they probably could have got a different story, and they could have saved this little girl, Naziah, and she would still be here. You know what I'm saying? She's no longer with us, I believe. I don't know that to be true. I believe she's no longer with us. She could still be out there somewhere. We don't know. But I think a lot of people are under the impression that Naziah is no longer here, and they could have done more to save her. And if you couldn't save her, why not, if you see what happened to Naziah and the ending result, why not go save the rest of those kids? There's still 10 more to go.
At least for them to have opportunity to say, you know what, this happened, that happened, I am afraid, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't do that. The investigation that you looked at, that probably was the one-time meeting, one-time thing. We made the report. I made the report on the 13th. They went over there. They contacted them on the 14th. They went over there, did a brief little look around, talk to the kids, and documented that report. It wasn't an investigation.
And my every call back would be, y'all know it's still kids in the house, right? Right. Okay, I'm calling back because clearly I called and there's still kids in the house. We just keep calling. Nothing's happening. Oh, well, we go over there. We investigate. This is the process. And if they find a reason, if they don't, and this is what we have been going through.
And it wasn't the same allegation with each report. It was one allegation after another allegation after another allegation. One of the allegations included Jarvis. The rest of the allegations were for other things that the children that were doing that were inappropriate for children to know about or do. And they didn't do anything. And a friend of mine who worked for CPS, she said, you keep on sending these CPS reports. After a while, they just don't start thinking you just making shit up.
Right, and my allegations against searches was Clinton Township and Wayne County. I made sure I put the press on Wayne County as far as CPS and out there, and I also called her apartment complex to let them know y'all have a pedophile within y'all apartment complex, and I spoke to the manager of everything and expressed this is going on. He's a
She's saying he's a PD
and so on.
And then I also my friend recommended, okay, we'll make a report anonymous.
So
we tried very tricky.
Do y'all feel like it's possible that Naziah is still alive, or y'all just feel like she's not here no more?
I don't have no idea at this point. It's so many stories and so many rumors, but I just try to lean on the side of with the investigation the police has.
Yeah,
like
that's all
the evidence say a lot, but we don't even have all the evidence. That's only like a little bit of the evidence they have, and the evidence say a lot. But I'm just keeping hope alive. Like without a body, I can't accept that she is gone. Like I can't accept it. Like,
what do y'all think about that? I mean, I think I'm asking good questions, but I'm also being a great listener because I just feel like the more I let them talk, the more.
I guess right now it's been a year. She's 13 years old. She can't work. She was pregnant. We know that for a fact. There's no way for her to survive this long on her own. And as now that it's gotten national attention, everybody knows what she looks like. There's no way nobody has reported her if she was still alive. I mean, I just don't see how she could be pregnant, have a baby, and still be alive and care for herself at 13. I mean, were you 13 before? You know you don't have no money, you don't have anything, you depend on adults for everything. Her depended on the adults. They just were not they were not people she could depend on. She couldn't go to them for anything. Even when she was alive or there, she actually was getting Jarvis to buy her tampons or, venom napkins and stuff like that. But that's just, I mean, they did actually, all they did for her was collect a check, basically.
Information I'm going to need is, hey, I'm just going to ask a question here and a question there. But they're saying, look, the evidence says a lot, but we don't have a body. We don't know. This is the family speaking, saying they don't even know if Naziah is still here or not. I'm going to take a shot to that. This is getting loose, y'all. We still got 33 minutes to go. Let's go. Cheers to the gang.
They're going to have to really show me some substantial evidence.
Exactly.
So then let me ask y'all this then. How do y'all want me to get this information out? Because, well, obviously, it's all recorded, but I will not release nothing if you tell me not to. I'll just have to go through and paraphrase everything and write notes down if you don't want this out. But I just think it'll be harder for us to do anything as far as I can make phone calls all day, but I just think that you as the family, y'all voice has to be heard at some point, and we have to put pressure on these people in order to save the rest of these kids and to get Annette and Shannon to be held accountable. So how do you want me to get this information out?
I don't know. Like, but I know what's going to happen.
What? I mean, we all know what's going to happen. Well, I know what's going to happen. One of them is in the chat right now. I'm not even going to say who, but I know they are because that is the name on the email that they would have been sending me. So I can see one of them is in the chat right now. I'm not even going to say who or what name they're under. If they want to say who they are, they definitely can. I ain't going to put them out there. But I see one of, that was K-Tip. Okay, is right there. Okay, so she said, I'm here. I told you, yeah, they're here right now. That's the same name on the email that they were sending me. So, yeah.
When he's talking about they're here right now, he's talking about Kewana. She was actually in the chat while he was live.
They're in the building right now. And so if you see K-Tip, okay, that's Nazia's family. They're in the chat. Salute to you. Salute. Happened. But I just think that, okay, that's Kewana. Salute to Kewana, y'all. Kewana is in the chat. Salute. Salute to Kewana, y'all. The best thing for everybody is for you guys to speak. And if you're the only people in the family, and I will apologize to y'all for having it wrong, but I just feel like y'all are the only two people that I've seen that really give a damn. All right, boys, who we betting on?
So yeah, it's a lot. Biggest problem is, like I said, they kept trying and trying and trying. And they did all the right stuff, but nobody acted on it.
Guys' voice is not out there, then nobody's going to speak up. You might encourage somebody else in the family to speak up, because I feel like more people in the family all knew about this and all kind of had indication that something in that household was going on, because there's just been a long list of people that came from that household that have been, touched on, or something weird happened with other people. I've even heard something about the Eric guy. He's the tier 3 offender, and they said something about him and Annette had a kid together at 11 years old or something like that. And
No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true about as far as that. I don't know about Eric's personal criminal history, but
I pulled it up. He's definitely
Eric is the guy they're talking about. I think his name was like Eric Gamble. And Eric was the one that you may have seen a picture that was floating around of Naziah, and there was an older man that kept grabbing her from behind while she was dancing and stuff. Yeah, that was Eric. He was in prison for attempted rape or grape.
Yeah, a tier 3 offender, and he shouldn't have been. He was around Naziah too,
Yeah, but I know that her child isn't by him.
Okay. So, yeah, I just feel like you guys need to. I feel like your voice should be heard, but obviously, I'm gonna respect whatever you guys say. And if I gotta go use some AI technology and just paraphrase everything, I'll do that. But it's totally up to you guys, and I'm gonna just.
You receive any backlash from the police?
The police. I got an arrest to be made in this case. The girl who is going around, the Mimi girl who's breaking into the shop and doing all this stuff, she got arrested.
Did you talk to Mimi?
Yeah, I talked to her. Yeah, she came to my show a few times. And
did she tell you who was with her when she was in the
I found out Roxy was with her. Roxy. So you know what's next, right, Roxy? So now.
No, that's crazy, right? So crazy Mimi, this case is Jag. She was breaking into buildings and stuff. Well, I saw a video where Roxy popped up. Roxy was there. She was all up in the mix.
I got an official arrest to be made. Roxy, you entered into a building on live too. I got it on my channel somewhere, but somebody send me that video when Roxy pulled up with those shovels and walked into that building. You also broke into a building too, Roxy. You're going to jail too. I'm going to put pressure on them to arrest you. I'm going to put pressure on them to arrest Mark. I'm going to put pressure on them to arrest Annette. I'm going to put pressure on them to arrest Shannon and Marquita. Roxy, you also was in one of those buildings. We got it on camera.
Yeah. You know what? We try to be humble. You just got to pay attention, right? I don't really know Roxy, Roxy. I'm going to be honest with you. Roxy told her to meet her there. Okay, Roxy told that girl to meet her at that address. Roxy went, when Roxy got there, Roxy said, are we on the internet? Are we on Instagram? And then Roxy asked for the shovel, and then they continued to go into the building. So I don't really know what's going on myself.
And I don't know
what
if
this
you
young
know,
lady is saying.
like back earlier in the investigation, there was.
Remember Roxy? I'm gonna rewind it a little bit so we can catch right back up. But remember Roxy pulled up and was like, "Oh, I saw y'all live on Facebook." It's like, first of all, weirdo. No one just sees someone live on Facebook at a random building and just pulls up to the exact building they're at unless you.
It's funny he says that because Roxy pulled up and then tried to play off like, "Oh, are you live? I saw that," and she tried to play it off. She actually has set this whole thing up to meet the girl.
Already knew the address. So Roxy, you tried to throw rocks and hide your hands. Roxy, I've been hip to you since day one. Everybody else was fooled. And a lot of y'all got to admit right now, Roxy had a lot of y'all fooled. I was the one person like, nah, bro, she's a part of this shit. I don't trust Roxy. I kept telling y'all, bro, something about Roxy, bro. She's the ringleader to me. I think Roxy is the one person that no one is paying attention to that knows everything. And a lot of you.
And I kind of agree to an extent. The way I feel about it is, to me, Roxy, she moved back home, put herself, got hooked up with Mark D. She was all on live. She was going after Shannon. She was going after Annette. She was going after Marquis. She was going after all of them. And then pretended that she was the only one doing anything. Jernell and Kewana had been doing stuff. They had been there. They had been trying to get this girl help. Roxy, I think, now I think that because of her close relationship with Shannon, because her aunt said it, they had an extremely, very, very close relationship. They were very tight. So my thing is, when they went to that house and Marquita and Shannon, who weren't supposed to be there, were there, they decided she's got Shannon off to herself and was talking to her, which is when we heard her say, "I was pregnant because I took a pregnancy test. I was pregnant. So I made her take one too." Why would you make a 13-year-old that you don't think is pregnant or even having sex? Why would you give her a pregnancy test? So when she said she was pregnant and then she saw a faint, there was a one clear, one line, and then the second line was faded on Nazia's test, she knew Nazia was pregnant. I think she knew she was pregnant even before that. But let's just say that, yeah, she knew. She knew. But on the stand, if you'll remember, she said that she wasn't. She didn't know. She didn't know anything. He was just her uncle, or like an uncle.
Y'all got to admit right now, just be real. She had a lot of y'all fooled. But let's continue.
I don't really know what's going on myself. And I don't know what this young lady is saying.
Like back earlier in the investigation, there was another social media influencer from Detroit that ended up getting arrested, who also was with Roxy.
Mark is going too. I'm gonna get. I just haven't even had time to work on him yet. He thinks
he's safe. It's not Mark. It's another one. Oh. I have to.
That's what I was trying to say. I think that Roxy, she realized that when she was talking to her in the kitchen and she said that stuff and they were still live recording, Roxy said, "Oh shit, I have messed up my cousin. Now she's gonna get in trouble." So Roxy, very next day, you remember, Roxy pulled way back. You was rah-rah in our faces, but now all of a sudden you fall back. Yeah.
I know Mark. Mark is who I first talked to about it.
So let me put
that's how it got started.
right?
But once Roxy got involved, the whole scenario changed.
So Jernell went to school with Mark. Mark knows Jernell, okay? When this went down, Jernell went to Mark and said, hey, this has happened to my niece. You know, can you put this, you know, her family knows him. Okay, so he was so-called supporting the story and put it on his podcast, okay?
Got me an interview with one of the news places, one of the news networks. And when we went to the thing, Roxy was there, which I don't remember. Like I'm Annette's half sister. We have the same father, so I don't remember reading Roxy, but I seen a picture that we were in a picture together. So I assumed that was like the first time I had met Roxy. I didn't recall meeting her, but you know, like whatever, all hands on deck. If we all in support of figuring this out, Nazaya, well, eventually. Mark turned on me, and he ran with.
Wow. So she's saying that Mark was helping her, Jernell, at first, and was trying to get her in with the news stations and stuff like that to spread the word about her Nazaya's disappearance. But then when they show up, Roxy is there already. And then that's when Mark basically dropped Jernell and Kewana and went with Team Roxy, who just showed up. Wasn't there from the beginning, but just showed up. Just saying. Let's see.
Let's go. The prank worked. Oh, yeah, shit.
This question: if you've been knowing this girl all your life, where do your loyalty supposed to stand?
I mean, with the person you knew.
And the person Roxy came along. He let her drag us on the podcast. I'm talking about drag us.
With the Tammy
suspects, yeah, and all type of crap.
So Roxy was saying that these two ladies were suspects. Roxy, Mimi also said you were digging up bones. See, I know Mimi does a lot of weird, and I know a lot of people are just like, Mimi is a weirdo, and I ran Mimi off, and no one listens to Mimi because of me. But Mimi also gave a couple gems here and there. And yeah, Mimi was a cloud chaser, but Mimi was the rock that was thrown out there so someone else could hide their hands, if that makes sense. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Mimi was thrown out there so somebody else could be like, what are you doing? You look crazy. Oh, and you separated yourself from Mimi, Roxy, but you're the one who threw Roxy out there. You also threw Mark out there. See, y'all are all fooled. A lot of y'all are fucking green as fuck. And I'm talking about so fucked up in the head. Mark, she did you the same way. She threw you out there for bait. Now, then she's like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with him. Don't even mention him around me no more. Like, what the, wait, what? Hold on. What? And then he's like, oh.
And this was following the very next day after they went up to Marquita's boyfriend's house. And apparently they went up there and some ish went down. Let's say that. They'll get to it in a sec.
Oh no, we still cool, man. Shut your dumb ass up, Frog Boy. Shut up, Frog Boy. And he over there, Frog Boy over there, green as hell, just a green frog. She threw Mimi out there, and as soon as Mimi got too hot, Roxy backed away from Mimi. Don't talk to Mimi or associate with Mimi no more. She threw these two ladies out there, and can't associate with them. Shannon and them, she throws everybody out there so she could play the background and look like, oh, I'm the advocate for the family, and I just want peace, and we want to find Nazaya. Shut your dumb ass up, Roxy. No one believes you, no.
If Roxy came in peace, Roxy would have came in, been like, hey, Jernell, let's get together. Let's work on this together. Okay? But she comes from another state, rolls up and takes over, and all over the YouTube streets. I'm just the motivator. It's like somewhere in there between Roxy and Mark D, somewhere they have lost sight of what this is all about. It's more about clout for them than anything else. I don't care what he says.
More. I don't believe you. They don't believe you. We don't believe you. Mark, she used you until she couldn't use you no more. She used Mimi till she couldn't use her no more. Roxy is the one who knows everything. And I stand on that. I will stand on that and stand on that. She also knows what Shannon knows. But as soon as she figured out the whole play, when she got in front of Shannon's face, she said, look, we're standing together as a family. You said you was going to put hands and feet on Shannon when you seen her with your Saquon Barkley built ass. Roxy, I can't stand that Saquon Barkley built bitch. She literally went over there and said, I'm finna, man, when I see Shannon, I'm putting hands and feet on her. I can't wait to see her. I'm whooping her. As soon as you seen her, you over there. Y'all was over there whispering in the corner. She told you the whole play, and then she threw Jernell under the bus. As soon as she seen you, she's like, Jernell's a liar. What the fuck Jernell got to do with any of this shit? What about all the shit y'all lied about on that stand? But I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna give y'all my analysis after this. We still got 27 minutes. Let's cook.
You didn't say have people come and vandalize in our houses, threaten us, calling my
I'm gonna
job.
rewind that.
And the Roxy came along.
He let her drag us on the podcast. I'm talking about drag us.
With the family.
Facts.
Yeah.
And all type of crap. He didn't say
have people come and vandalize in our houses, threaten us, calling my job. My supervisor and the head of security had me in the office having a conversation with me about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's not even like I'm not even really upset about the social media stuff as far as people saying you responsible, like that. Everybody gonna have their opinion. I know what I did. I've been hitting a brick wall in every turn.
Absolutely.
But my one concern is, in the beginning, the police were talking to us. And then when Roxy started going to houses and chasing what the psychic said and all that stuff, they have cut us off.
Like we a part of it.
Like we went to court and they was trying not to let us in court.
And they thought we was with her.
Because they thought we was doing the things that Roxy was doing.
Cheers.
So now I don't know what has happened with Roxy and Mark, but it has something to do with the police.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm afraid of is being completely isolated from what's going on inside the case.
Because they affiliate us with them.
With going on social media and stuff.
Right. Now let me say this. Let me say this.
Want to keep it simple, keep it simple. Just a little bit of information or whatever, fine. But I don't want to get to the point where I have no insight on what's going on.
Exactly.
Because the more we do social media, the further they push us away.
And guess, and in the beginning of the investigation, when the Detroit School Police had it, and when the DPC had it, they told us once all of this start going on with the psychic and the 2 months information going back to social media. Because here's what happens. If they're doing an investigation on, let's say an investigation is going on whoever, and information is going back to social media, they're just cleaning it up. They're cleaning up with, oh, shoot, they own the such and such. They own it.
Yes.
Like when they were in the area, she's on live with a damn phone pointed on the cop that's in the area.
Thank you, Lisa G, for the 20-piece on Cash App. Salute.
La IA de Google te ayuda a
Yeah, so right now they're just worried about the fact that they will have zero access, to any information, regarding the case because Roxy has done so much online, her and Mark D, which in a way it was effective at first because it got Shannon and all of them scared. But now it's to a point where police is like telling the family, just go sit down somewhere. They feel like everybody's trying to hinder the case.
In the area. Saying, who is this man? Who is this man? He
undercover police officer. And then they said we ruined the integrity of the we were ruining the integrity of the investigation because every single time, that's what took them so long, because every single time something went on social media, they got to go evidence against it. So that's the same thing that the prosecutor is like, please don't, he says, already hard to prove a case without a body. You got to be careful because you put too much, you put this out there, that can hit his defense team.
That's what the defense
chance to get the murder
the situation
thrown out.
Yeah, that's what they doing. They eating it up. They like, oh, now all of a sudden they went in the house. Now all of a sudden Shannon said this. Now this, now that. Only thing that's doing is making the fish stronger. And that his defense. And they're saying, oh, well, hell, just like from the beginning. She was going to guys' house saying, the psychic said that Naziah was scratching in your car, her blood is in your car, and y'all kidnapped her. We like, what the hell? Jarvis is already in jail as a suspect. Okay, let's keep it on that. Let's let them do that investigation, right? And so, they were pissed.
And then even now, like after the preliminary, she went to the hotel and they mentioned in the preliminary questioning people. Like the information that she been getting from the preliminary, that's how she found out where the shop was at. And her and Mimi and a group of other people went over there.
But make no mistake, they called Mimi.
Yeah, Mimi did not go over there at all.
So she set Mimi up and sent Mimi over to that shop. Mimi is not smart enough. Mimi is definitely not smart at all. I'm sorry, Mimi, you dumb as a box of rocks. Roxy set you up for failure. Roxy was, I'm telling you, she was throwing rocks and hiding her hands. They were sending Mimi, sending Mark, sending everybody. Roxy is the ringleader. And even Mimi told me, and I don't know who was, I can't remember if this was on live or not, but Mimi told me, I think this was on Discord. I can't remember. Anyway, Mimi told me that Roxy was moving the bones of Naziah. Roxy was the one who knew where Naziah was at. Roxy was going around with shovels at nighttime. She said Roxy called her at 4 o'clock in the morning and had a shovel and was out there digging up bones or digging up something in the middle of the woods. And Roxy knew where Naziah was at, and Roxy was moving the bones. This is what Mimi told me. If you remember that, drop the gems. If you don't know what I'm talking about, drop the eyeballs. But I promise y'all, Mimi told me that Roxy moved Naziah's bones. I don't know this to be true. I'm not saying it's true or not. All I'm saying is this is what was told to me. If y'all remember that, drop the gems. If you don't remember it, drop the eyeballs. But she definitely told me that. Good to know.
So we scratched.
And I don't even understand. Like, did you watch the video of when they went over to Marquita's house and the boyfriend?
Yes.
Do it look like they were surprised?
No. That looked like a whole
Not at all.
Like it was a whole plot.
Which is true. I didn't think about it that way, but when he walked into the room that they were in, they just looked at him like, oh, you're here. Like, it does look like they knew.
Like it was acted.
So they're saying whenever they went to the boyfriend's house and Roxy went with Roxy went with Frog Boy, and they were all out to Marquita and Shannon. They're even saying this was a play. This was they set that up. But let's continue.
And I was pissed.
What pissed me off is my 12-year-old nephew was in the house. With all that shit going on.
Okay? The moment Mark walked up to the door with that AR-15, that baby came out that goddamn.
He flew out that room so damn fast.
Do you know what that child is going through?
Well, okay, so they're saying that a 12-year-old child was in that house and Mark ran in there with an AR-15. Mark, you still think shit sweet. You think I'm not going to get you locked up. I promise you I have not made a call on you yet, bro. I swear I have not made the call yet. I'm going to do it on live. When I do it, everybody going to know I did it. Mark, it'll be tomorrow.
Not only that, but the problem with Mark showing up there like that, one, he wasn't going to get a whole lot of answers out of her when he walked up to her and asked her, so you like how should I put this? Kitty players or kitty touchers. So she asked him if he was one. And it kind of went from there, but it's like he went in there like gangbusters, talking crap to her. She got mad, and as soon as she got mad, you could tell she just closed off. It was like, and then it was attitude after that.
I'm fucking sick of Frog Boy. I'm about to call down there, and if they want to arrest you, I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna call internal affairs, which I'm.
And that's it. Also, Mark, they said that he came up there. He had an AR-15 on him, is what allegedly happened, and yeah, I'm sure Shannon is a witness. So you're going in there doing a live with one of the witnesses. Not the smartest thing. If anything, that could help his side more so than the state side.
Do it anyway. I'm gonna call DPD and internal affairs. Mark, count your motherfucking days, Frog Boy. You threatened a 12-year-old child with an AR-15, and he ran out that house, and they're saying he's still suffering pain and suffering. They can sue you. I don't know if Kewana's still in here. Kewana, you can sue him for that. And I want you to get that 12-year-old child to say how fearful he was when they went in there with that AR-15. I need you to do that for me. She said, yeah, that's why we stayed on those phones, because we knew they needed to subpoena those records. Kewana, I want you to tell the police how fearful that 12-year-old child was when he seen Mark running that house with that AR-15. He's going to jail. He's going to jail.
And what pissed me off is my 12-year-old nephew was in the house with all that shit going on.
Okay, the moment Mark walked up to the door with that AR-15, that baby came out that goddamn.
He flew out there on something.
Do you know what that child is going through?
Like I've been saying, I'm gonna get Mark arrested for that, and
that's
all you need to do is all that 12-year-old needs to do is say he saw a gun and he was scared, and Mark is gone.
There's no way that's gonna happen. There's no way I would let that happen. And I was even more pissed that Roxy was there because this is your little cousin. Don't just be this. My thing with her is.
You gotta look at it. Did you see Roxy energy?
Yeah,
in that house.
That was a plot for her and Shannon to get face to face so they could talk about everything. And once they had a conversation, then Roxy completely, I'm back with the family.
Yeah, that's crazy. And, another thing is, it's insane that he did what he did, because somebody could have got killed. I mean, let the police handle their job, even though they didn't do well. I can't even blame them as much, because, damn, it took a month for them to even get the case. First 48 hours is the most. That's the period that you need to lock in on finding somebody. It's a month later that they got this case on their desk.
What was the first thing that she asked Shannon when she got to ask her a question alone? She asked her about me.
Yeah, like she's trying to throw us under the bus. She's been doing this the whole time.
And then Shannon said, they don't mind it. Like, why do you even got to bring me up after all this evidence has been laid out in court? At this point, what I said in the CPS case really don't fucking matter.
Exactly. But you see,
so why did
the first name she brought up?
The first name to be brought up was me.
Like, we're not credible. You're not credible. Ain't that a bitch?
Well, I'll tell y'all what the next steps are. If you guys are cool, and how can I put this? If you guys are cool with it, we could use this, and this is leverage, because when I make my phone calls, I'm not calling the police. I'm calling internal affairs. I'm calling their boss's boss. When I call CPS, I'm not calling the office. I'm calling their boss's boss. And trust me and believe me when I tell you, this is not the end of the road. These people are all fixing to get in trouble. Roxy will get came down on. Mark, Shannon, everybody, Annette gonna be held accountable, and the police who didn't do anything. All those calls y'all made are not gonna go unnoticed. All those CPS reports y'all made will not go unnoticed. I guarantee y'all, when I start making phone calls, people will get
Well,
arrested.
I hope so, because like we didn't have so many people call different people in Lansing or Capital.
But I just got to get the okay.
So basically, we were told that no state agency is gonna charge they're not gonna force them to charge anyone else. That's what we were told.
It's okay.
The person that got their one and only suspect. And I'm like, I'm not even trying to, I can't even say for sure that they was a part of the murder, but they was definitely a part of the process that led to whatever Nervous did or whatever happened.
We don't need them to go down for the unaliving or the disappearance. We just know that they were negligent.
Neglect. Child endangerment. Pure neglect.
And they lied on the stand, which is perjury. So
perjury on the stand.
So we already got them for perjury, and we got them for child neglect, and we got them for endangering more than one child. All those children are endangered. All we got to do is prove it, which we can.
If you lying about this, what else you do? Right. At this point, I would have been like, you know what? This is above me. I'm just gonna tell the truth and let the rest of it work itself out. But the police, they're telling the truth. They know, the police know they're in fault, and they're accepting this bullshit ass truth that they're telling them. They're not telling the whole truth. They're just telling enough truth or spinning the truth enough to make it seem like they're being cooperative.
Hey, is Kewana, you still in here? Let me know if you still in here, Kewana. Somebody tell me if Kewana is still in here, because I got to ask her something. Kewana, are you still in here? And if you're wondering who Kewana is, that's one of the ladies that's on this phone, that's Naziah's family. So I need to know if Kewana is still in here. If you are in here, Kewana, excuse me. If you are in here, when this is over, if you want to speak or say anything that you left out, or if you want me to hit you up and you want to get something off, I will hit you up whenever I get off here. So if you're still in here, Kewana, you here? Okay. Do you want to talk after I'm done with this? We still got 16, 17 minutes left in this recording. And if you want to speak after this recording, let me know and I'll give you a call and we can speak. I'll let you hop up on the live and we can speak and you can get anything off if you want to. Just let me know. So then all I could do is ask your permission. Is it okay if we use this? Okay, I'll call you after the live. Not after the live. Excuse me. I'll call you after I'm done with this part of the live. So as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna call Kewana so we can talk to her on live, y'all. And I go further and I get all of them charged with whatever I can. That's all. I just had to have your permission.
Permission to what are you asking exactly? I just want to understand.
To use this audio. If not, I'm just going to have to paraphrase everything. They're just going to take my word for it.
You mean use the audio as far as the investigation for the police, or
for everything?
For online too.
Yeah.
Do you have to use all of it? Can you use just like parts of the main things that you want to focus on?
I mean, what in particular do you not want me to use?
I don't know, because we just said a lot.
I think it's all useful, though. I don't think that, you can't get in any more fire with the family than you already are. They already looking at the group.
It's not about the family.
It's the police.
We're not worried. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to worry about the police because I'm going over their heads. So they're the least of y'all worries. DPD is fixing to be in trouble for this.
So I don't mind if you like you said, paraphrase it, you go back and talk about our conversation and things that we said within our conversation. I don't mind that, and I don't mind the audio as far as the proper authorities go. I don't want to do the whole our conversation on social media thing because it's such a mess. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just such a mess. The family is the least of my worries. Again, I've had whole family members turn on me and say, well, Roxy did all of this. And we like, really? First of all, what fucking difference do it make if this is a shared effort and this is a family saying, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. This shouldn't happen. It shouldn't matter who did what, but to be clear, that wasn't even this situation. So, you know, we've been past that road where family has turned their backs, and it hurt. I shed many tears. I am still losing sleep. I don't sleep at night.
We've been talking.
My children are, children involved. You know what I'm saying? Children that's hurting.
The child who was in the house, he not gonna say a word. Just like the Naziah brother, don't say a word.
Nothing.
They are
trained. I don't know what.
They are trained and they are brainwashed. You are not going to get anything about any of the family from Annette's children to her grandchildren. Anybody with the last name Harris, you are not, you are not going to get any information out of them.
Well, trust me, we will. If you do your homework on me, you'll realize I'm a bad person on this internet. So just let me work, and I got a whole gang of people who will get some results. Trust me. Like, if you notice that signature shit that everybody's trying to get Annette and Shannon to be held responsible, when I went live the other night, they had 827 signatures when I went live. When I got off of live the next day, they had over 5,000 signatures on it.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. And then another thing, like, it seems like the more internet we do, like YouTube and stuff like that, don't nobody like Skilla Baby had reached out and said, but he don't want to be bothered with none of us because he don't know who is who. Like, I know.
So for those of you that don't know, Skilla Baby is a rapper from Detroit, and he had said that he would pay for, any kind of funeral services, arrangements. He'd pay for all of it, but he was not going to give not one dime to the family because he felt like, from what he could tell and everything that he's heard, he's like, everybody's involved. So he said he would pay for that, but he did not want to give any money to the family, which I don't blame him.
People who know him personally, and he basically like, yeah, I ain't dealing with none of them family members.
Yeah, they all crazy. They don't even know. We've been in. We have it. We're not the ones that's looking for social media presence and all that.
Anything positive towards Naziah, we get shunned out of.
I think personally, I think that y'all voices need to be heard. I think that it's very important for Naziah in this case. Without y'all, I don't think that we can go any further and do anything without you guys being heard. So that's why I keep pushing y'all. Like, you should.
So can you just like say you sponsor us and basically paraphrase what we talked about?
I can.
Okay.
It'll be a little hard, but I can. Unless you allow me to use a voice and I just take out the parts where we're talking about the police.
Yeah, they were really not wanting to put anything out because of the fact that they felt like they would lose any traction with the police as far as getting information as to what's going on.
And ruining the integrity of the case.
I mean, you can't ruin it. If that was the case, they would already arrested Mark and Roxy and everybody else for doing it.
I don't know what happened to them, but that's the reason why he can't talk about it. I don't know if they issued a gag order on him or what, but
everybody's free to give their opinion. This ain't nothing but our opinions, so I don't think that you got nothing to worry about with that. It's just an opinion that you're speaking on how you feel.
Like I said, for me, if it's going to help the case as far as the authorities and so on, that's fine. I don't know, the social media thing. I just always felt like, it's good that people hear and people support and they know what's going on, but everybody's just out there talking about this, that, and the other, and people, these people that's listening in, there's passionate people, but there's people, it just became pure fucking entertainment for them. And that's just what it has became. And it's just constant bad for us.
That's because nobody in their family will speak. And now that finally someone's speaking, I think that this would actually point everybody in the right direction.
But that's the thing. We've been speaking since February.
But that's the thing. No, nobody knows that though. Nobody knows that because no one's talking about it. Everyone is talking about everything that Mark and Roxy are doing. Everybody's talking about the stuff that is highlighted. They're kind of pushing y'all out the way. I didn't even know who y'all were until the other night when I seen that. And that's why I was like, man, why they ain't called the police?
Which is funny that he would say that because actually, like I said, he said he had just seen them the other night. I had saw them weeks ago, like the last day of the preliminary. I ended up either that day or the next day. The first video I came upon was the one with community advocate, and it was Jernell and Kewana. That is the only family I had heard from, and I believed them, and I still believe them because they have actual proof. Roxy, I didn't see anything with Roxy until after that, and it was Roxy and the Mimi. And I was like, what? And I was like, why is she with this crazy person? Well, I guess that's how Roxy rolls, but she was out there with Mimi, and Mimi had lots to say. You might want to check out, I think Ratchet TV said that he does have a video where it is of Mimi. So if you want to check that out, like I said, she's a hot mess, but the stuff she was doing was crazy.
I didn't even know nothing about y'all. So, and that's crazy that I've never heard a word about y'all at all. So,
but we've been on multiple news clips. They're doing this YouTube, social media, and so on. So, locally, everybody know who they are from the social media thing because that's something that they want to do. That's something that they're into. As far as, going on the news and trying to make people aware as to, her being, missing and the situation with Jarvis, we've been doing that from the beginning. We just didn't want, I'm trying to say it respectfully. I'm trying to say it what I'm saying it, we were not,
this is not what I intended. When I talked to Mark, this mess that occurred is not what,
from putting the kids on social media, and now they're being bullied, and these babies are already psychologically messed up. Just the fact that they lost a cousin to a situation like this, and the man that was around them, that they were told it's okay for him to be around. Okay, these kids are messed up, and so I mean that alone for me. Has had me losing sleep. When they hurt, I hurt. It was never, for me, it was never about everybody having a glass of wine in a shit show. It was about saving these children.
That's why this is so. That's why this is so important. Because we got to save those kids. It's important that we continue this and save the rest of these kids. And that's my only mission. Well, of course, is to get answers about Nazaya and figure out what's going on with that. But it's looking like that they don't want us to get those answers. But the next best thing we could do is protect the rest of the children in that house. And hopefully, like I said, everybody could hear this, and then they can be like, those kids probably are better off with them. And maybe there's something that we could do with helping you guys get those kids. And like I said, go over CPS's head. That's my mission. I don't want to talk to CPS. I've already made reports with CPS, and CPS ain't doing nothing. So, therefore, I want to go. I know exactly who to call, and I can go over their heads and call their boss. So, do you guys feel like these children in that home will be better off with Kewana and Jernell? Or do you feel like they're better off in that home? What do you guys in the chat think? Do you think that CPS should remove those kids and give...
At me the whole time. Everybody had a chance to say their piece. Everybody got something to say about what happened to them. And that's my thing, Ratchet. This moment here, this is about Nazaya. Everybody want to come out and talk about Grandma Susie and Uncle Willie now. That's taken away from what we're actually trying to make happen for Nasiah and these kids. If when the investigation is over, everybody want to get together, slang mud, fine. But right now, in this moment, it's a whole lot of stuff I could have said. You hear me?
But that's been going on for 40 plus years. We talking about what's happening now.
If they want a book, I got the book for them. But right now, in this moment, it's about Nasiah because ain't nobody say shit. Nobody was shooting at the gym when it was put out and we going through all this fight. Everybody was mad at us, pretty much. You know?
Well, that's gonna stop tonight. Trust me. So,
Okay.
and then you guys got my number.
Yep.
If you want to reach out to me from your personal number, or you know what I'm saying, I could just email you.
I'll probably hit the stars at 7 because you know, Ratchet, you just never know. You just I
You gotta see how he been burned.
What I want to do is I want to send y'all some. Nah, trust me, we good. But I do want to send y'all some numbers of some people that we can go over these people here. Now I'll point you in the right direction of who to call. These are the calls I'm going to be making, but I also want you guys to make these calls too. So I want to send you over some numbers of who to call, and you don't have to worry about CPS or DPD no more. I'm going to show you who to go to get real results. So I'll send.
In that Detroit public school, they the ones. If they would have done what we were cussing their ass out to do from the beginning, and that's turn this case over instead of being cocky and prideful, they probably would have got somewhere with finding her before any of this happened. They were too cocky. I mean, we are the police, just a different type.
Well, it don't matter now because you're in good hands now. Just trust me on this. But yeah, I want to get with y'all behind the scenes on some stuff, and we'll speak about who to call next and what to do next, so we can get some real results. It's not over. Trust me, we just beginning, and I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, I'm gonna do good tonight. Trust me, I'm gonna do good with you.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Do it good, direct. I'm like, nope.
Y'all will be receiving a lot of love, and y'all look at y'all flowers tonight, and we're gonna get this out there from Nasiah. I appreciate y'all for all the information. Thank you so much.
No problem. We're gonna shoot you our number so you'll have them.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was, like I said, a call between Jernell, who is the half sister of Annette, and cousin Kewana of Nasiah. They were working together pretty much and trying to find out what was going on, trying to get these kids safe house, because they called multiple times. I mean, I heard that they had called over 10 times, each one of them. There was at one point over 40 cases to their house, that Harris house. That's crazy as hell. 40 cases that were called in and nothing happened, and those kids are still there. That's a problem. I'm going to follow this case. I'm going to be actually bringing updates. Also, I'm going to be watching the trial and covering the trial when it comes up. And until then, see you around. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, now you're done.
Uh,
Is that